Welcome into the Feminine Flex. I'm your host, Monica Mecca. Today I'm here with Megan Hartzog, my former trainer.
Hi.
I know Megan from training me when I was in powerlifting, but your background is actually in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Can you tell us like a little background? What did you compete in? How many shows you've done?
Yeah.
Just the gist.
So I have competed in 6 bikini competitions, and I did my first show in 2020, and that was a little bit of chaos because shows kept getting canceled. But I am really excited that I was able to step on stage the end of 2020, and I did my last show in 2023. So in about 3 years, I did 6 shows.
Okay.
And that's me.
Yeah, that's great. What got you into doing bodybuilding and shows?
Okay, so if we rewind a little bit, background on Megan, I grew up really tiny. So believe it or not, I graduated high school at like 85 pounds, 4'11", just super, super small. And I got teased a lot for that. That was kind of, so we're kind of diving into my childhood trauma already. But
Welcome in.
welcome to the podcast. But that was just something I could never control. I was a competitive dancer, and I always remember being super fascinated by muscles. My dad lifted weights. My mom was very active. So I had that support system with my family. But there was just so many times where I would be like 16, 17 years old and get the kids menu at the restaurant. Or
Okay, but that's kind of a hack.
yeah, but like when I was 16, I was like, I want boys to notice me. I wanted to be taken seriously as a woman. And so to me at the time, like there's nothing cooler than having big muscles and being strong. I'm not going to get any taller, but at least I could get jacked.
What you could control. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think a lot of people get excited about bodybuilding because it looks really cool. And if I'm honest, like that's where I started too. But as I got into pursuing more of my personal training career, it was just another layer of like, I want to experience what my clients are going through. I had never done a diet. I'd never been in a deficit. I'd never like struggled with my weight per se. That'd never been anything that was a challenge for me. I had different challenges like growing. So it was another way for me to like relate to my clients, but also to get taken seriously.
Yeah. So when did you start training then?
So I got married at 19.
Okay.
We had my first daughter at 21, and I have 3 kids. So I have an 11, an 8, and a 6-year-old. And so we were done having kids when I was 26. And I knew throughout that whole time of being pregnant and not being pregnant and breastfeeding, like I knew that I wanted to compete, but it just wasn't the right time for my family. So I was training as consistently as I could as a mother in the trenches.
In the heat of it.
Yes, like right in the heat of it. And I think it was good. Like it still helped me maintain that identity of Megan and not just mom.
Right.
But after my son was born, he's my youngest, that was the time. I was like, okay, we're going to do this. And it was scary. Like just saying it out loud, like, oh, I'm going to compete in a bodybuilding competition. That was so scary. There was a lot of imposter syndrome and
Definitely.
But yeah.
Yeah. So how long were you training before you competed?
So I kind of grew up in the gym.
Okay.
So I was always really active, but I didn't take my strength training really seriously until I was done with my competitive dancing career.
Right.
So that was about when I was 20. So I had about 6 years of good strength training, but I would say about 3 of those years were optimal because obviously I took some time off to have babies.
So all of your training or your competing started after having kids.
Yes.
What was that like? Do you think it affected your training at all, being post-pregnancy or? Yeah.
100%. I think becoming a mother just changes you. And I'm not going to get emotional talking about my kids. But I think for me, I had a lot of health struggles being pregnant. It was really, really hard for me mentally and physically, and just the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. So after going through that, a bodybuilding competition was no big deal. And you can ask my husband too. He's like, no, I would rather you prep for 100 shows than go through another pregnancy again.
Really?
And yes, the pregnancies were way more rewarding for sure.
Oh,
but
of course.
it was, yeah, but it was more of like, pregnancy doesn't stop. Like it's not an option to quit, and you're doing it for someone other than yourself. And it was hard. It was really, really hard being pregnant. But afterwards, I felt so much better, and I was just in a better headspace. I felt like I had, sounds kind of cheesy, but like I had more of a purpose, and I had people that I wanted to make proud. Like, I can't tell you a better feeling than being on stage and then listening to those three little voices being like, go mommy, yay. And hearing them on stage, and then you're trying to hold it together is so hard. It's so hard. But yeah, I don't know what it would be like to prep without kids, but there were hard parts too. Like towards the end, it was really hard to be emotionally present for them because your brain is so focused on other things. And so that was challenging, but it was also a good distraction too, if that makes sense.
Well, and not to mention, I can just imagine, because I'm in a deficit currently, and I know how I get so brain fogged towards, especially the end of the week.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine trying to be present with kids during all that.
Yes. I think that was one of the hardest parts about prep, was trying to emotionally and mentally be present for them and feed them food and not project like my hunger on them, if that makes sense. Like, I'm starving and I would like to finish your food, but you're not finishing your food. I'm not getting mad about that.
Yeah.
You know?
Did they ever ask about your diet when they saw you like weighing out your food or prepping?
Yeah, especially my girls. My son was young, so he had no idea what was going on. I think he was less than 2 my first competition, and then the last time I competed he was like 4.5, and the dude just had no idea what was going on, and that's fine. Totally fine. But my girls, they started to know. My oldest especially, she would like put her cereal bowl on top of the food scale and be like, Mom, is my food good? I'm like, yeah, girl, get it. Like, so they didn't understand the full thing, and that's good. I think they were just too young,
right,
to really comprehend what that's like. And I don't ever want my daughters to think that they need to restrict food where they're at in their life right now.
Right.
And so that was another thing I think I was really sensitive about, is I tried not to let them ever hear me make comments about my body or my physical appearance or my weight or anything like that. I was very conscious about that. And if they asked, because they knew, I would always respond with things like, oh, mommy's getting stronger today, or mommy's a little bit tired because I'm getting closer to my competition, or things like that.
Yeah, like geared towards a positive perspective.
Yes. Or mom's really excited to have chicken and rice and vegetables. Like, this makes my body feel really good. Yeah. And I tried not to let them hear things like, mom's really hungry and I really want to eat your granola bar. Like, I tried not to let them hear that stuff. I'm not perfect. Like, I totally made mistakes. But
that's something I think when I'm thinking about it, I wouldn't have even thought about, because you are the biggest influence in their relationship with food.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see like why that's so important to be conscious of that.
Well, and especially like as women too, I mean, you just know there's so much around of what women should be or how they should look, and I don't want my girls to get that from me.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, they're so perfect exactly how they are, and they're growing, and they don't need to think about having tie-ins on their glutes. Like, they don't need to think about that.
Right. Yeah. And, if they come to that point where they want to be bodybuilders and way later in life, then they can face that. But not now. They don't need to think about that.
Now I just want them to have a healthy relationship with their bodies and their food, and continue growing and thriving, whatever they want to do.
Yeah. I always see you post your kids in the gym and they're working out with you, and they're trying. It looks so like they're having such a great time in the gym with mom.
They do. They love it. But I haven't posted in a while because my girls are doing competitive gymnastics and I can't keep up with them now.
Oh,
they are wild.
So you're embarrassed that they're outdoing you.
They just make me look bad.
That's great.
Like, my oldest can do like 10 pull-ups. She was
wow.
Yeah.
That's Impressive. Yeah. Go, girl.
I mean, she's only pulling up like 60 pounds.
I mean, you know.
So, but still, like, that's awesome.
Yeah. That's great. Okay, so gearing back towards competition, did you compete? You competed naturally?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Was there ever any thought to do peptides or steroids or anything?
I love this question because I don't think we talk about it enough. And I would be lying if I say I never thought about it.
Yeah.
My first few shows when I was really new to the sport, I felt like I had room to grow naturally. I just hadn't come close to my potential. That was the first time that I was training not interrupted by pregnancy. And so I didn't feel like the timing was right for anything like that. But as the division has changed, like you can look at bikini and how much the division has changed and the competitors have grown. Definitely. It is wild. Like bikini competitors now are like figure competitors 10 years ago. And so the amount of muscle is just on another level. And so towards the end of like my last few shows, I would be lying if I say I wasn't tempted.
Yeah.
Definitely something I considered and I didn't. But that's not to say I won't. I don't know. You know, it's discouraging to be like, I did every single thing possible and maybe I just need more time, or there's so many variables and every competitor has a different mindset towards use of PEDs. So
yeah. Did you see a lot of it around you?
Yes, for sure. Yes.
I mean, yes, but not yes.
Yes. Poor sweet Megan in 2020 just went into her first bodybuilding competition so naive. Like, I just thought everyone was natural and I just had no idea. And I think a lot more competitors, especially in bikini, were back then. And you'll still find quite a few bikini competitors that are, but other divisions almost always, I mean, at the regional level, that's a different story, but anything national or pro level,
yeah,
almost every competitor is enhanced in some way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now they even say almost every pro has to be on something.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Like, if you look at it over the years, it's grown so much.
Yes.
No, they did come out with that new division, the
Fit model. Yes.
Would you, if you go back to competing, would you consider doing that, or would you stick with bikini?
So it's funny you asked that because I was just having this conversation with my husband when they introduced the Fit Model division. And I don't know. The answer is I don't know. I would like to think that I have a muscular enough physique to continue to be successful in bikini, but that's at the regional level. Like if I know that if I wanted to go on to the national or even pursue a pro card, that it would not be naturally in bikini. It would be more towards Fit Model. So,
okay.
Yeah. So
is that your goal though, to go for a pro card?
Right now, no. Actually, but maybe one day. I mean, I can compete in Masters in 2 years. Yeah. Masters is 35. Like, that's so wild. That's so young.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't even realize it was 35.
Yeah.
I thought for some reason I had it in my head it was 45, but
no, I just feel like 35 is so young.
Yeah.
So young. But I don't know. Right now, there's just so many more exciting things in my life than how my body looks.
Sure.
And I'm okay with that. But I do want to compete again. I do want to go back. And so we will see what the future brings.
Yeah, if that comes about.
But I do like that they added Fit Model because it does make it a more inclusive sport. And that is, it's hard for someone that's thinking about doing bodybuilding to just go straight to bikini now, because that is a really unattainable physique in a couple years.
Right.
But Fit Model is a great place for people to start and see if they enjoy the process and being on stage and all of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And even, with like how you said, how it's grown, I think something that when I was even just diving into the sport, also being naive and thinking that everyone was natural, especially the bikini models, and just to find out how many women are not natural, I think I was shocked because in my head, I had this image of what not natural looked like, and
Yes.
it didn't look like that.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I think too, our view of what a natty physique like it looks like is so skewed because if you just scroll through Instagram or TikTok, most of those people are very enhanced as well. And we just think
Yeah.
they're normal physiques.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think something that really was kind of upsetting to me is how many people kind of brush it under the rug or pretend
Yeah.
to be natty.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just gives this like very unattainable idea on what you can achieve, what your expectations are going into it.
Yes.
It's like in my head, it's equivalent of like Instagram models
Yeah.
who will lie about having plastic surgery.
Yes.
Like,
Definitely. Definitely. I wish it was talked about more. And I just think about like my sweet children comparing themselves to those physiques and not understanding that, like growing up in a time where they are comparing, like that's a
Right.
natural thing to do. And you just don't have all the facts to do that.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah.
I just hope that in the future that it does become something more normalized or more talked about.
Yes.
Because I think a big reason why a lot of people won't talk about it is because they're sponsorships.
Mm-hmm.
But right now there's this.
Yeah, it's very hush hush. And I think too, like there are illegal drugs and people don't want to get in trouble for that. And so that's another thing, but also stuff like GLP-1s, like that's fine. Or even just HRT, things like that. People just aren't as open about it. And, you know, to each their own. But one thing I am glad is that the NPC has added more natural shows, drug tested shows. And I think that's really cool for the people that do want to continue pursuing the sport, but don't want to take a lot of things, extra things.
Yeah, I do really appreciate the natural division of it too.
Yeah.
Because then I don't think there's a bias happening at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And you just even the playing field.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
When you first got into it, you didn't have a coach. You were self-taught, right?
Well, that's a good question. So my very first prep, I was
Yes.
like, I'm going to coach myself. I know how to do this. I know how to program. I know how to diet. I know I'll go to a few posing classes and I'll coach myself.
Yeah.
And that was, my first show was going to be March 2020. And spoiler, that didn't happen. But going,
Gee, I wonder why.
so after doing like prepping myself for a few months, I made a lot of progress and I was really happy with that. And then my show got canceled and I reverse dieted. And then I was like, you know what? I could really benefit from a coach. And I love the quote, like every good coach needs a coach. And there was a lot that I learned. And it wasn't, it's just such a subjective sport. And when you are dieting that hard, I'm sure you know, like your brain doesn't function how it normally functions. And so there would be times where I'm like, am I too lean? Am I not lean enough? Or how's my symmetry? How's my balance? How's my posing? All of this stuff. Am I getting too lean too quickly? There was all of these things where I was actually doing a really good job coaching myself, but I just kept questioning it, especially because it was my first time. So I did have a coach for all of the shows that I've done.
Okay.
And then, but if I go back, I think I really just want to do one by myself. Like I really just want to like trust my gut and my eye and just do one on my own.
Yeah, definitely. So you had the same coach for all of them?
No, I switched coaches after my first competition. She was great. My first coach was awesome. I loved her. And then I switched to Fit Body Fusion for the remainder of my competing career, if you want to call it that. And they're a great team to work with. I had Nicole Desmond. She was my coach and she was great. I think that's probably the most important thing if you're looking to compete is to find a good coach.
Yeah. Did you had one coach for it all? Because I know a lot of people do like a separate posing coach. And then the other coach.
Yeah. So I would send my coach like posing videos and she would give me feedback, but I'm kind of isolated. I live in a mountain town and there was no one else competing. So I would drive to group posing classes and that was really fun for me to just meet other competitors, but also get the nerves out and practice in the group setting posing and getting feedback from other coaches and competitors. That was super helpful for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And make you feel more a part of it's a very individual sport, but there is some team camaraderie.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't feel as isolated and as alone, and other people are hungry. Other people are nervous. Like,
we're all kind of going through it.
yeah, other people have insecurities. And
Yeah.
so you're like, okay, all this stuff I'm feeling is normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That especially make you feel a little more
Yeah. Yeah.
comforted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I know when you helped me through my powerlifting, something you mentioned was powerlifting felt more together, like empowering each other,
Yeah.
whereas bodybuilding almost felt tearing each other apart in a way because they're competing against each other. But
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
it's different. Like, they're both individual sports, but it was like, that was the only powerlifting competition I've been to. Like, you were the only powerlifter I've coached. And it was really cool for me to like basically do the exact opposite. Like, we're going to see what your body can do, and you're not being critiqued on what you look like or your physique.
Right.
Versus it was the total opposite in bodybuilding. Like, no one cares what I can bench press. So that was really cool. And just to see others, like other teams behind the scenes, like hyping you up and helping you get warmed up, that was really cool. And I did experience that in bodybuilding as well. But there was also a lot of girls like kind of eyeing you up backstage, or like not wanting to talk. And, you know, other people are nervous too, and you're vulnerable. You're in a very tiny swimsuit. So I get it. But yeah, I wish there was more of that.
Yeah. Like even post show, after coming off the stage, after already getting your nerves out, was there more relaxed, like any more camaraderie happening behind the stage, or was it still kind of very much so like you're my competition?
It depends on the competition. So there was a few where it was really awesome, and then there were some competitions where it was just kind of like crickets. So it depends on the group of girls. And I think the energy of having some like really awesome, positive competitors backstage can help bring up everybody else. And so I made the goal to, like, people probably thought I was really annoying, but like I tried to smile at everybody. I tried to just be like, smile and be like, hi, how are you? And that was it. Some people didn't want to talk. Like, they had their headphones in, they were getting in the zone.
Sure, locking in.
Yeah, like eating their rice cakes. But,
yeah.
but like, you can't get mad when someone smiles at you.
Right. Yeah, you're bringing the positivity that you want to see.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, the same thing with powerlifting. Like, you're just trying to be your best. Like, you're trying to beat your numbers. And bodybuilding is the same thing. And if you look at it like you're trying to beat every other competitor on stage, I think you're doing it wrong.
Absolutely.
Like,
Because
yeah,
no matter what, it's you versus you.
totally. No one else has your physique.
Right.
No one else is trying, like, going through the things that you're going through. Nobody else has that. And so you're just trying to look the very best that you can possibly look. And I would hope that you would wish that on every other competitor too. So
yeah, definitely. Did you experience any, because I know, bodybuilding is supposed to be, they're viewed as the healthiest, the top tier, like this is your health goal. But like in reality, so many people get injuries or joint pain or sustaining things that they kind of take away with them.
Yeah.
Did you experience anything kind of like that?
Okay. Well,
diving in.
most of my injuries and stuff was from dancing competitively for years. And so like I just like have some hip issues and stuff. And thankfully, like I was so blessed to be healthy during all of my preps. And that to me was a huge blessing. And to have a body that functioned and responded how it was supposed to, like I'm so grateful for that. Afterwards, every single show I got the feedback like, you need to grow, you need to grow, you need to grow. And most of the time the feedback was grow all over, just get bigger. Like you just need more size, more density. And I grew every single show. But after that last show, I was like, oh, I was so discouraged getting that feedback. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to grow. And they told me specifically a little bit more in my upper body. So I was like, okay, we're going to train upper body more frequently. I'm going to increase my volume. We're going to grow. This is going to happen. And that's when I started to get like tendonitis in my elbows and my wrists. And then my body was pissed. And it was like, no, you're actually going to take like 9 months off all upper body so that you can heal and recover. So knowing what I know, like I should have listened to my body and backed off. But when it's a sport, like when you're really competitive with yourself and that progress is addicting, like you don't want to let off the gas.
Right. Especially when if you're competitive with yourself, that like that competitive nature can drive you past some of those. Because I know I've done it before too. When I was competing, I felt shoulder injury. I'm like, you know what, whatever, it'll pass. And then it took like a while to heal.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I think bodybuilding in general is like the first 6 to 8 weeks of prep is a dream. Like you are healthy, like you're feeling great, your cardio's in a great place, you're eating better, the scale's responding, and you're not that hungry yet usually. But the last few weeks is gnarly. Like it's dark, and I don't think that is healthy.
Yeah.
And so I have a little bit of like a disagreement with people thinking that it's like a healthy sport, because there are aspects of it that are really healthy, and building those habits are great, and prioritizing your protein and clean foods and strength training and cardio, like all those things are great and they will benefit your health. I just think taking it to the extreme is not going to be the best for your health. But also if you do it right, then it's just for a small moment, and then listen to your body and get a coach that prioritizes your health, that runs your blood work, that takes care of you from the inside out.
Yeah, because something I was pretty shocked to learn is that a lot of competitors will lose their period when they hit that sub 10%.
Yes.
And that's something I think I was really shocked to hear, because I had this idea too that I want to compete in bodybuilding, but then my fertility is kind of my priority right now. So it's okay, maybe that's not the goal right now.
Yeah.
But is that something you experienced too?
Definitely. Yeah. I lost my cycle every single time.
Really?
Yes. And most competitors do. Some don't. I mean, every woman's different, but I got pretty lean. So I went a few months without, and it did take a while to get it back. But I mean, and it depended on the show. If I had a longer competing season, then it was a little bit harder. My body needed a little bit more time.
Yeah.
So.
Did you kind of know that was going to happen going into it, or is that very just like shocking?
The first time it happened, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant. That was like my first thought. And, but I wasn't pregnant, but like, that's the first thing you think of when you don't get your period, is that you're pregnant. And I'm like, I can't be pregnant. I'm going on stage soon. Like everyone's going to see. Right. But once I talked with my coach. She was great. And
she was like, relax, you're not pregnant. This is normal.
Yeah, definitely. And then, but she also made it a priority to be like, okay, after this show, because I was only a couple weeks out, I think, when I lost my cycle on the last show. And she's like, okay, that'll be our first priority. You only have a couple weeks. You're going to be all right. It is an extreme sport. It's very competitive, and it is not a lifestyle to live that way and walk around that lean.
Yes.
And that's why you don't see regular people women walking around like that. You see it on Instagram. Yeah.
And then that's why a lot of people only stay there for their competition and then don't try to keep it afterwards.
Definitely. Yeah.
What is something you kind of wish you knew before you even stepped onto the stage?
I wish I would have known how cold I would be when I get really low. I was freezing all the time. But in all seriousness, I wish I would have known how hard the reverse diet would be.
Oh, okay.
That I had heard people talk about it, but and you don't know until you're experiencing it. Like I could describe it to you, but you're not going to know how it feels until you're in that moment. But there's so much of, okay, you're 12 weeks out, you're 10 weeks out, you're 3 weeks out. And you're so focused at that point on your show and then celebrating afterwards. But what happens the day after your show and the weeks after? And that's when a lot of competitors really screw up. And it was hard. That part was hard because your hormones are so messed up and your body doesn't tell you that you're full and that you could stop eating. And so I could have eaten all day long. And I definitely did eat a lot more than I should have. But some competitors don't reel it back in. And then so they get really super shredded. And then a week later, they gain 30 pounds. And that's wild. And that's scary. And that's also not great for your health.
Yeah, that's a very fast time to gain that.
Yes.
When you say reverse diet, did you have a calorie goal in mind, when just like up to a quote unquote maintenance calorie?
Yeah. So I was aggressively cutting. And after my show, our goal was to slowly bring calories back up to maintenance. But it's hard because I could be on like 1,500 calories peak week, and then coach could give me like 1,800 calories the day after the show, and you'd be like, no, that's not enough. I'm still famished. And so just the keeping, and it's a lot harder to keep your brain in that space when the show's over.
Right.
When you're like, no one's actually going to see me in a bikini soon. So like, or like, I earned this. I think that's a narrative we like to tell ourselves a lot of the time is I worked so hard. I get this now.
Right.
But like, what if we flipped it? Like, I worked so hard. I can show my body that I appreciate it by sticking to my reverse diet as much as possible.
Yeah, because you're right, because now your body's like in this survival mode.
Yeah.
But you have this stage that you're looking forward to. But
Yeah.
you're right after that. What comes after that?
Exactly. So some people get depressed, like they don't know what to do next, or they're like floundering a little bit. They don't have that rigid structure and schedule that they did during prep. And so they just kind of fall apart a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that. I feel like I'd probably be the same way if I was in that situation.
And I did get better at it as I competed more because I knew it was coming and I knew how to handle myself. And kind of, I mean, you still mess up, but I prepared for it a little bit better the more that I competed.
That's good. That's still every single time it was like a little bit easier. So you're not like.
But my first show I competed was the week before Christmas. And so it was like, I just wanted to eat all the Christmas cookies.
Yeah, afterwards, I'd be stuffing my face with Christmas cookies.
And they taste so good. Food just tastes so much better when you've been eating super clean for such a long time.
Yeah, I see. I will always watch those videos of girls coming right off of the stage and then stuffing with crumble cookie.
Yes.
I'm like, I can't imagine how good that cookie tastes for her.
It tastes so good. Like in that moment, it tastes so good. But also it's just like, like I look back and I'm like, come on, Megan, you probably only needed one cookie.
Yeah, not all 6.
Yeah.
But you're in that like, again, starved, depleted, like
for sure,
ravenous stage.
And then you have the adrenaline going too. Like you just did something that was kind of scary and exciting, that there was all this build up to the show. And so then you go into your post-show meal and you have all this adrenaline and excitement and you want to celebrate. Yes. And I definitely think you should. But I think drawing the line somewhere as a competitor and knowing that going into it, like, okay, I'm going to celebrate after my show. And then maybe the day after I will just take it a little bit easy, but then it's back onto it. Like, then I'm going to take care of myself. Then I'm going to stick to my reverse.
Stick back with your plan.
Yeah.
How long did you stay with your coach after competing?
I don't remember. I was in a position after my last show where I didn't know if I wanted to go the national route, and I was still kind of deciding, and I still had all those emotions from competing. And so we were in that limbo phase, and then we decided, okay, let's bring calories back up a little bit. And then I was like, you know what? I don't feel like I want to go to nationals yet. Like, I don't feel like my physique is competitive enough. And maybe that was me struggling with some things too, like still not feeling big enough.
Sure.
But so then once I was reversed, I paused things with my coach, and that was like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
In between each of these, did you do a bulk then?
Yeah, I tried yes, I did. I wouldn't say it was like a dirty bulk. Like my weight is really hard for me. Like right now I'm sitting 7 pounds above stage weight. Okay. That's it.
Well, yeah, because I know you were talking a lot about getting bigger. So.
And so for me, when I get my calories up really high, I just move a lot more. Like I cannot sit still. And so it's really hard. And it's hard for me to eat a lot of food. Like it is really uncomfortable. And I'm making all of the excuses right now because I hate every part of like being in a surplus. It's not fun to me at all. But yes, we did push calories quite a bit between each show. And that was good. I built muscle. Like you can tell from all my pictures, I was definitely progressing. And that's really cool to see. It's rewarding, and it's cool to know that your hard work is paying off.
Sure. I'm sure if you looked at like your last time on stage versus your first time,
totally. Yeah.
Big growth.
Yeah. My first show, I competed at 93 pounds on stage, and same conditioning. My last show, I was 101.
Wow.
So
yeah, that's great.
I was stoked about that.
Yeah.
So happy.
But your feedback, you still like keep getting from the coaches is more upper body then?
Yeah, more everywhere, really, more density everywhere. And that comes with time.
Right.
And it just genetically it's a genetic sport. Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
best of the best, you look at the top Olympian athletes, like they're genetic freaks, but they also work their butt off. They work really, really hard. And so if you have both of those, you're going to be really successful in the sport. But even if you don't have awesome genetics, like you can still be really successful. For me, genetically, like I'm just a little person. It's just hard for me to get that big.
I think genetically you're perfect for bikini. Like
Yeah.
you are the ideal bikini, like petiteness.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe bikini like in 2018.
Well, I think like, I mean, I could never ever compete in bikini. I know that. I think I would be wellness if I did it.
Okay.
But that's, I mean, I'm also just short of 6 foot. So
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
that's not really that division.
There's some tall bikini girls.
I have seen that, like, oh, what is her name? Simpson? No, I can't think of her name. But she was IFBB Pro bikini back in, I want to say like 2016.
Okay.
Laura Simpson? I might be like, Laura,
Laura, tall, blonde hair,
blonde hair.
long, beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just describe every bikini competitor.
I know. Now it's like almost all of them. But she was tall and I saw that and I was like, oh, okay, wait,
Yeah.
maybe I actually could be that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think if I ever did it, it would be wellness though.
This is beautiful.
But Brazilians also like dominate wellness.
Stunning. Stunning.
It's because they're just, again, genetics. They're genetically
Yes,
gifted.
yes.
They're like,
when you think about all those like soccer players too, and all of that muscle that they have in their lower body from playing like years and years of soccer, and then they decide they want to compete,
yeah,
and they're already just set up for success.
their quads are just gifted from the gods.
I love it. If I could compete in any division, just my favorite physique is wellness.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I think so too. Okay, so you mentioned like you talked a lot about your post eating or reverse dieting is what you called it. How do you think your relationship with food was just overall affected through all of this?
Okay. So remember how I told you pre-competing Megan had never been on a diet ever in her life.
Yes.
So I just had always eaten what sounded good, stopped eating when I was full, ate when I felt like it. Sometimes I'd forget to eat. Sometimes I'd eat too much. Like it was just like a normal person that just ate food. And so competing really changed my relationship with food, but I think for the better. And some competitors might say something different and they might have a different experience, but this was just me. It helped me a lot understand how much protein my body needs, how carbs affect my workout and my pumps, how fat helps my hormone health and is going to keep me satiated, all of those things. So I learned a lot about food, and not that I didn't know a lot about food before because I was helping and teaching my clients, but I learned how it affected my body.
And made it more real for you.
Yeah, for sure. And I had so much more appreciation for food.
Yeah.
Before, I wouldn't consider myself a foodie. Like I just was almost kind of annoyed that I had to eat. Like I just wanted to play outside and just like do things, and I just didn't want to be stopped by eating food.
Right.
And so having to eat and having to eat a certain amount of all of these things and feeling my body change and feel really good was awesome.
Yeah. That's great because, you know, I think most people, when you hear them talk about it, they'll tell you kind of the reverse. Like,
Yeah.
they really destroyed their relationship with food. But
Yeah.
I like what you're saying, that you're having to focus on how much protein.
Yeah. And I think society's view on what is healthy is so skewed because a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's not healthy to obsess about what you're eating, or that's not healthy to eat that many vegetables or that much protein or yada, yada. Because you hear a lot of that when you're tracking everything and eating out of your Tupperwares. And yeah, that's not healthy that's not sustainable for a long period of time. But I think eating real food consistently so that your body feels good is probably the most healthy thing you could possibly do.
Yeah. And just learning about it, like you said, like learning about, okay, this amount of, or these grams of chicken is going to be this much protein. And then coming out of that, you just kind of already know that
Exactly,
now. Now you've learned these basics that you can take with you, and you don't have to track it, but
Yes.
you're now intuitively eating.
Exactly. And I'm not neurotically weighing everything. And I do think there is value in that. I think every person should go through a point in their life where they are keeping track of everything that they're putting into their body. But now I can be like, okay, well, I'm having protein in every meal and fiber in every meal because it makes me feel really good. And I have more energy throughout the day. And so, yeah, I was like hormonally, I was a little messed up after my show just because I was hungry and I enjoyed the foods I was eating. I just wanted more. And so, but I think it was probably the best thing for me and my relationship with food.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I think if anything, I would like to know more about micronutrients because I think like macros are kind of what's focused on a lot. But
Yeah.
you're even saying like what makes you feel good. I think the micronutrients are a little more important for that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you take like quite a bit of supplements when you were?
Just like basic supplements. Like I didn't take anything crazy. Like I was on some creatine, some fish oil, magnesium, vitamin D, like stuff I still take, a prenatal or a multivitamin, whatever. And that was pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but I got my blood work done. So I knew what my body needed.
Right.
And unfortunately, all my hormone levels were great. So I didn't need anything extra.
You wanted like,
I mean, I wanted like a little bit of like, can we get some more tests or what? But no.
and then you'd actually be natural and like,
exactly. But
yeah,
nope, she was good.
dang.
Yeah. Maybe next time.
That's right. So you said potentially another show might be in your future. You're not really sure when.
No, I mean, I haven't, I keep looking, like I'm looking, and I think it's more of the fit model division coming out. There's that decision of which division should I go with next time.
Right.
And because they don't let you cross compete per show, so that you can't sign up for both divisions. They do let you do that for like bikini and wellness and other divisions, but which I'm glad that they're doing this because then you get so many bikini competitors in fit model. So I think I kind of need to decide which division or if I want to go like to an NPC natural show. I kind of got some decisions to make, but and my kids are older now. Like my oldest is 11. And so she is approaching the time where her body's changing and stuff. And she's a little bit more aware. And I don't want my girls to think that mommy's shredded, so I need to be shredded. I'm really sensitive to that.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit easier to do my thing when they were younger. Now that they're older, I'm a mom. I want to protect my kids.
Yeah.
But yes, I do want to do one. And I do want to see my kids struggle through that. And I do want to like make my kids proud and show them that mom can do hard things. Mom can be uncomfortable. Like I was nervous to come on this podcast. Like, and they were cheering me on. So like, I want to do that.
I think you're always going to make your kids proud. I don't think you can't like to set your basis.
I think just as women, like we're just hard on ourselves.
Of course. I mean, always. I think that's kind of been ingrained in our heads from a young age and
there's always that thought like I could be doing more. I could do this better. And I really just want to go into a next prep being like, I'm enough as I am, but I want to get on stage.
Right.
So we'll see. I'll keep you updated.
Please do.
Yeah.
I'll be on the lookout.
Yeah. Yeah. You could do it with me.
I would love to. That'd be fun.
So fun.
Yeah. Cause I think it's been really like, nice talking to you or well, even knowing, that you use all your shows after pregnancy. Cause that was kind of my whole hesitation is I do want to do the show. I would love to do a show, but I want to be pregnant first. Like my focus right now is to grow a family.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how that was going to affect me in the long run, but I've seen so many women do incredible comebacks and just come back in harder and stronger. And I think it's really inspiring when women do that.
Well, and there's so many mothers on the Olympia stage. There's so many. And I think Angelica has 2 little girls and she just like hung up her heels at the Arnold. I don't know if you saw that. It was really cute.
It was such a beautiful moment.
So I just think like women's bodies are phenomenal.
Crazy.
And one of the coolest parts, I just remember being backstage and you can see all these women up close. So you see their C-section scars, you see their stretch marks that they're a little bit insecure about, even though they're lean and looking amazing. Like your body
like
tells a story.
full on six pack.
Yes.
But yeah.
But loose skin. And I'm one of those. Like I can get really lean, but I'm still going to have a lot of loose skin. My body grew a lot. It got really big with my kids. And it's really cool to see these women that have what the world would call imperfections being as like perfect as you can be, I guess you could say. And the spray tan helps a ton.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We love a good spray tan.
Love a spray tan. Yeah. Well, no, I think that's great because I do think you're right. Like the world does see like these imperfections of, like I think everyone gets scared of that loose skin or the stretch marks, but it does tell a beautiful story. You're this awesome mom, especially who's on stage.
Yeah. And I think to me, that was like just having a piece of my favorite humans ever with me on stage.
Yeah.
Like I grew them from scratch. And then I also built that muscle. And I did all of these things. And I can do so many more things. And it's really cool.
So something you wanted to talk about more. How regional shows aren't emphasized enough. I think everybody thinks like they want to do a show and then it's IFBB Pro or like that's what they need is IFBB.
Yeah. So I think people see like the cream of the crop on Instagram and get excited about competing. So like they see the Olympians, they see the top level pros, and then they think that's what it's like.
Yes.
But I think the beauty in a regional competition should be glamorized a little bit more. Like those are the regular, relatable people. And I don't think there's anything wrong with going in. There's so many people I met. They're like, yeah, I do a couple of regional shows every year. I don't need to go pro. I don't really want to go to nationals. I'm not trying to make this my whole life, but this is something that I enjoy doing and it adds value and structure to my life, but it is not my entire life. And if it does become your entire life, that's cool too, but it's also okay to explore other hobbies and it's okay to have bodybuilding be part of your story. It's okay to not feel like you need to be the best of the best. Like I thought I needed to, like it was my whole bodybuilding journey was a waste if I didn't go pro, if I didn't go to nationals. And so I really struggled with that for a while. But like you think about people that just train for a long time just to run a marathon because they just want to complete their marathon.
Right.
And that's the goal for them. And like, why can't that be that way for bodybuilding?
Yeah. Like why can't it be treated like almost any other sport?
Yeah. Why can't you do it for fun? Like beach volleyball. Like
yeah, that's definitely something that's not emphasized enough or even really show that it's an option. Because I think when you think of, or at least, even me, like when I was first thinking about bodybuilding, not really knowing anything, I think that's what I thought it was. You have to go into this big league of it.
And so if there's any like new competitors or like advice that I would give to a new competitor or someone thinking about competing would be to go watch a local show. Just go watch a local regional show in your area. You can look it up online, pop in and just see what the competition pool is like. I mean, they're phenomenal physiques. Like these people look incredible, but they're not like what you would see on Instagram or at the Olympia, which is good because the physiques aren't touched up. There's like no Photoshop. There's nothing. It's real. And you see some people like their nerves on stage. You've seen people that have like overcome breast cancer or have, like we talked about, loose skin and stretch marks and stuff like that. Like you see real bodies and real people that maybe work in an office 9 to 5 or like are driving their minivan to soccer practice. Like
it's not me. It's not like the influencers of the sport,
it's not these sponsored competitors. And so I think a lot of people think about doing the sport, think about competing, but then they see these super crazy physiques online and they see the best of the best, the genetic freaks, and then they're like, oh, that's never going to be me.
Right.
And no, it might not, but like you can still be a really good version of you. Like that's still not a reason to not try.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think now you got me inspired. Like I should go look at a show.
Yeah, do it.
I'm like, where's the next show happening near me?
Totally you should. Denver has a bunch. They're really long.
Really?
Yeah, it's a whole day thing. So just like bring snacks. Bring snacks.
Yeah.
You can bring all the food in. Just make sure your water bottle is full.
You'll inspire me though.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Because I felt a lot better my first show when I got there, and I was like, okay, like I'm not at the Olympia.
Right.
Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, it's been lovely having you here on the podcast. Thank you for
so
joining
much.
me with this.
Yeah.
You have a program currently right now.
Yeah. So I teach a women's strength training class in Estes Park, and that is kind of like my passion project. I just love getting women lifting weights, confident and comfortable in the gym. So if you are in the area and you want to come to class, then my website is bustyourbutt.com.
And we'll link it in the
Yeah.
description. But yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.